By the end of this video, you'll know exactly how to be a servant leader as a Scrum Master to support your teams, and the organization. Servant leadership is one of the 10 stances of a Scrum Master, and I would even say it's the backbone of a Scrum Master role. First off, what is a servant leader? Well, the originator of a servant leadership term, Robert K. Greenleaf, describes a servant leader as a servant first. It begins with a natural feeling that one wants to serve first. Then conscious choice brings one to aspire to lead. That leader significantly differs from one who is leader first, maybe due to a need to acquire power, material, belonging, control, and authority within the organization. Here's the traditional view of command and control leadership, where the leader is in a position of authority and the team needs to execute the directives of the leader, sometimes even without question. You can't question the leader, what the leader says you need to do. And because of this, there's little room for experimentation, for failure, for personal growth, whereas a servant leader elevates the team by serving its members. The goal of a servant leader is to help the team grow as a unit, but also as individuals. And because of this, the performance of the team improves, which benefits everyone, including the leader. The team is empowered to experiment with new ideas, try new things out, and fail. Failure is okay. Failure is normal because failure is needed to grow later. And the team has tons of space to experiment, fail, and grow. The Scrum Guide describes the Scrum Master as a servant leader. But there's a small correction in the latest version of the Scrum Guide, the 2020 version of the Scrum Guide. Servant leadership, the word not mentioned anywhere. They removed it. Don't know why. Need to do some research, and I will make a video later about that because it's quite interesting to know why they removed that. But the previous version, the Scrum Master, was a servant leader. And the servant leader is not a master of a team. Nope, not a master of a team. The servant leader is a master of empowering people, team members, the team as a unit, so that they can achieve more and really grow into their full potential. The Scrum Master, as a servant leader, serves the development team, the product owner, and the whole organization. Let's start with the team. It's the easiest one. The first thing the Scrum Master does is identify impediments and help remove them. Help identify impediments and help remove them. Doesn't mean that the Scrum Master needs to remove impediments. Nope. Help remove them. Support the team in removing and identifying these impediments. Guide the team on adopting Scrum and Agile principles. Guide the team on improving the quality of the work being delivered. Teach them, coach them on self-management, self-organization, cross-functionality. Support, help the team define all their processes, how they want to work, what are the team values, what's the definition of done, the definition of ready. You can facilitate Scrum events, meetings, sessions. And remember the goal, you're not a master of a team, nope, you're a master of empowering people so that they can unleash their full potential. Next, the Scrum Master also helps the product owner by ensuring that the product owner has a roadmap, has a vision. Support the product owner in writing and defining all these things, ensuring that all these things are also visible and transparent. The whole team needs to be aware, and the roadmap, vision, needs to be visible somewhere. The product backlog, extremely important that it's ordered in terms of priority. It's clear, well defined. Teach the product owner, coach the product owner on how to do proper backlog management. Coach the product owner on techniques to properly learn about customer needs. What does the customer want? What will be valuable to the customer? And once we find that, ensure that the product owner teach them that they need to add that to the product backlog. It needs to be clear. It needs to be in a format that the development team will understand and that the development team can take action on that. And it's really important to always update the vision, the roadmap, ensuring that we are always working on top priority items for the customer, most valuable items for a customer, and ensuring teach the product owner that all these things need to be clear and transparent throughout. The team needs to be behind the roadmap, behind this vision, so that we feel empowered and motivated to serve the customer. Next, the Scrum Master also supports and helps the organization by coaching management, middle management, upper management on adopting Scrum, Agile principles and explaining to them the value behind small increments, valuable increments of a product. Why we shouldn't wait for a big bang release in the big bang after 2 years. Nope, small increments, valuable things to the customer, valuable features to the customer, rapidly, quickly, and continuously to gather feedback and produce better products. Coach them on all these Agile and Scrum principles and values. Work with other Scrum Masters, Agile coaches to coordinate change throughout the organization to make the adoption of Scrum Agile practices more effective throughout the organization. The Scrum Master can also help coach other teams, management, upper management, on how to remove and identify impediments to increase the productivity of the team. It's essential that management and other teams really understand the impact of impediments on teams in the organization, how to identify these impediments, how to remove them, how to ensure that these impediments don't happen again in the future. Coach stakeholders, management on the importance of all the Scrum events, especially the sprint review. They should be coming to the sprint review. Everyone who has a sort of interest in the project, in the team, in the product we are trying to develop should come to the sprint review. It's crucial that they come to the sprint review. Also help the organization transition from the traditional project management roles to the Scrum and Agile roles. You can also coach, teach management on how to be good and effective servant leaders. And talking about servant leaders, now that you know how a Scrum Master serves the team, product owner, organization, all these things, let's go quickly through the key differences. Final time, key differences between a boss, a traditional command and control leader, and a servant leader. The traditional boss, motivated by personal drive to achieve, whereas the servant leader, motivated by desire to serve others. We talked about that, to empower the team. The boss, highly competitive, independent mindset, seeks to receive personal credit for achievement, whereas the servant leader, highly collaborative and independent, gives credit to others. We talked about that. Understand internal politics and uses them to win personally. That's the boss. Then the servant leader, sensitive to what motivates others and empowers all to win with shared goals and vision. The boss focuses on fast action, complains about long meetings and about others being too slow. Whereas the servant leader focuses on gaining understanding, input, buy-in from all parties. The boss relies on facts, logic, and proof, whereas the servant leader uses intuition and foresight to balance facts, logic, and proof. The boss controls information in order to maintain power. Power is extremely important for the boss, whereas the servant leader shares the big picture information generously. The boss spends more time telling, giving orders, sees too much listening or coaching as inefficient. The servant leader listens deeply and respectfully to others, especially to those who disagree. The boss feels that personal value comes from individual talents. The servant leader feels that personal value comes from mentoring and working collaboratively with others. A boss sees network of supporters as power base and perks and titles as a signal to others. The servant leader develops trust across a network of constituencies, breaks down hierarchy. The boss is eager to speak first, feels that his or her ideas are more important, often dominates or intimidates opponents, whereas the servant leader most likely to listen first, values others' input. The team knows. That's the mindset of a servant leader. The team knows better. The boss uses personal power and intimidation to leverage what he or she wants, whereas the servant leader uses personal trust and respect to build bridges and do what's best for the whole. The boss accountability is more often about who is to blame, whereas the servant leader accountability is about making it safe to learn from mistakes. The boss uses humor to control others, whereas the servant leader uses humor to lift others up and make it safe to learn from mistakes. If you want more tips and insights on Agile, Scrum, personal growth, click on the video that stands out the most on the screen right now, and I'll see you in a few seconds.